It was because David was so filled with the Spirit upon seeing the ark, because it's what the ark represented, that he danced in the street in his loincloth, also known as his underwear. What struck me the most were these three items that are inside this ark, and that's what I want to speak to you about. Because I go back to what I said about this ark removed obstacles for the Israelites and gave them courage and strength. So what does this ark and the contents inside of it mean to us, and how can it help remove our obstacles? See, that's the point. Because we're living today. We're not living, you know, what, 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years. We're living in today. We're living in 2012. So what is this ark business? Because I told you that the ark kind of disappeared with the destruction of the first temple. So let's talk about it for a minute. The first part that's in the ark is the Ten Commandments. These spiritual principles that guided the people. So I want to talk a little bit about the Ten Commandments in a different way. I mean, we all, and there's another interactive part of the message. How many of you know the Ten Commandments? Can you name them? Some of them. Thou shalt not kill. What else?
Thou shalt not covet your neighbor's wife.
Your neighbor's wife. Your neighbor's wife.
Honor thy parents.
Honor thy father. Yes.
I am the Lord your God. You shall not have false gods.
Excellent. Yes.
Thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not kill. So the first commandment, I am the one who is and will always be your God. I am the one who has helped you in the past and who cares about you unconditionally. There's a removal of obstacles right there. Just to know that I've always been taken care of. I'm going to be continuing to be protected. So here's the spiritual principle behind that for me. It's hope. Hope. Commandment number 2, breaking free of things that no longer serve us. False idols. Addicted to work, addicted to drugs, addicted to clothes, addicted to food, addicted to things, addicted to people who aren't good for us, right? It takes courage. It takes courage to break free of these things. So the second principle is courage. Hope, courage. The third one, divine things. Everything is divine. God is in all things. God is everything. Therefore, honor it. All of it. Honor all of it. No, don't curse God. The commandment itself says don't take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. But really the principle behind it, I think, is if everything is God, then we can't curse anything. So when I'm in traffic and I'm like, oh, it's traffic, and I curse the traffic, I curse God. But I have to believe first that God is in all things, and that's faith. So that's the third principle, it's faith. The fourth is be good to yourself. Be good to yourself. So don't murder. Don't murder anything, especially yourself. Be good to yourself. The spiritual principle being compassion. Honor the ancestors. Spiritual principle of respect. Lift each other up in spirit. Spiritual principle of service. Be faithful. That means have integrity. Be honest. Spiritual principle of honesty. Be kind and loving in thought, word, and deed. Principle is love. And the last one, recognize our oneness, which is goodwill. So there's no room for envy. See, because when I covet what you have, I'm forgetting that we're one. So that when you get it and you have it, I'm supposed to be rejoicing. Because we're one. So if you're getting it, I'm getting it. See, and that's why there's no room for envy. And in some of the Hindu path that I follow, the faith practice that I follow, my guru talks about be good and do good. That's his motto. Be good and do good. To be of a sattvic nature. To be sattva, which is pure. Not rajas, which is about ego. And not tamas, which is about envy and hate and laziness, but to be sattvic, S-A-T-W-I-C, it's Sanskrit for pure and good. So it's about creating good karma, right, in this embodiment. So these are the principles, whether they be the Ten Commandments, the challenges, the principles, these spiritual principles that we adhere to in our day-to-day life, in our life on life's terms, in this practical realm, right? These are the principles that should go before us in the ark. They should be our GPS system. If we follow these principles, these spiritual principles, and let them go before us, all will be well. The Bhagavad Gita in the Hindu scriptures says this as it pertains to spiritual laws. Quote, "Those who live in accordance with the divine laws, without complaining, firmly established in faith, are released from karma. Those who violate these laws, criticizing and complaining, are utterly deluded, and they are the cause of their own suffering." The Buddhist sutras also talk about this when they talk about virtues are endless and limitless. They are born of the law of righteousness. They dwell in the law. They're fashioned by the law. They have the law as their master. The law is their light. So these principles, I'm going to ask for all of us to kind of ask for help with this, to remember to put our principles before everything else. Our spiritual principles should guide us as a people, kind of going ahead of us. Let's talk about the rod of Aaron, the second thing that's in the ark. Now, I told you before about Aaron was the spokesperson for Moses, right? He was a high priest. The rod of Aaron symbolizes tools that we can use on our spiritual path. Last night was this beautiful supermoon. And Chris went in and she taught me all about what the supermoon was about last night. She also taught me about going inside and getting all of the crystals and energizing them and charging them up in the moon. And she actually went into the pool with her big bowl, her big crystal singing bowl. And she was in the middle of the pool. And she was doing her thing. And I was like, wow. It's a divination tool. It's a rod of Aaron. Meditation is a rod of Aaron. Meditation is a tool that we use. Prayer and japa. I do japa every morning. I say a mantra 108 times. A mantra that has been given to me by my guru. I say that 108 times. Is that magic? Yeah, it is. It is magic. It's a divination tool. It's a rod of Aaron for me. Satsanga, which is good association, coming together like this with like-minded people and sharing and listening to scriptures, is a rod of Aaron. For some of us, program of recovery is a tool of divination, a tool in which we can connect with the divine. Reiki, healing, divination tools, card readings, intuitive messages, channeling, fire circles. We do them here all the time. Having spirit guides, recognizing them, knowing them, meeting them, angels, animal medicine. All of this is a rod of Aaron for us. And then finally the manna. The manna from heaven. This bread. For me, this symbolizes the divine plan. This symbolizes that all will be well. This symbolizes that no matter what, I'm going to be okay. That my one power, this one source that I believe is in, of, and all of us, will always take care of me. It is about having faith and never forgetting. That's why the Israelites put the bread, they put part of the manna in the ark, to never forget that God will provide for you. So the Israelites aren't the only ones that need reminders. We need reminders all the time. They're not the only ones who complain when things don't go their way. We do that all the time. They would soon forget and they'd go right into worry mode. It was the manna from heaven, though, that fed the Israelites throughout their journey. So they kept some of the manna for gratitude and faith. But we still are worried, aren't we? I don't care what good things happen. A great thing can happen, and then the very next minute, something bad happens, and immediately we worry. We forgot all about that gratitude. Even though we're reminded by the saints and sages to surrender to the one power and that all will be well, we still worry. Jesus said it. He said, don't worry about your life. What you're going to eat, what you're going to drink, what you're going to wear. You know, in day-to-day life, Jesus would have been saying, don't worry about the FPL bill. Don't worry about Comcast. Don't worry about the mortgage. Don't worry about, you know, what food you're going to be able to get or how you're going to send your kids to school. Instead, he said, look at the birds. The birds. They're not worrying. And look at the flowers. He said even King Solomon doesn't have these amazing clothes. So why do you worry? Stop worrying. Seek first the kingdom which is within us. And then all these things are going to be given to you. So we need to remind ourselves daily of how grateful we are, of the manna that we've been given, that all will be well, that God has a plan, and that the one power will provide all that we need on our journey. Now, what happened in 586 BCE, right, before the Common Era, the Babylonian Emperor Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the temple, and that's when the Ark got lost. So how do we find the lost Ark in our individual spiritual journey? What's our principles? What's our spiritual principles that go in the Ark? What's our rod of Aaron? And what's the manna that we've been given? What's inside of your ark? Do you even have an ark? What helps you to remember and invoke the God force, the presence of God in your life? What spiritual principles or laws do you follow? And what about the manna? What about the manna in your ark? Do you remember what you're grateful for? Do you recall on a daily basis all that which has been given to us? I just came across this really amazing book. I'm going to share with you this exercise that they told me about. It said every day when you get up, and you got to do this for 28 days, every day you get up and you list on a piece of paper or in your head that which you're grateful for. Some of us are familiar with that already, a gratitude list. But here's the best part. Say what you're grateful for, and then say why you're grateful for it. So not just that you're grateful, but why. So my first one this morning was my life. Grateful for my life. Why? Because in this embodiment I get to maybe become enlightened. Why? Because I also get to follow a call that I've been given. To love and to serve. So to love, serve, and remember, that's why I'm happy for my life. So you list the 10 things, and then after you say the 10 things, you go back and you read it again, and after each one you go, thank you, thank you, thank you. So you really seed it. And finally, the rod of Aaron. What are our rods of Aaron? We have to find that on our own, whatever works best for us. Some of us are healers. Some of us really like working with divination tools like cards and having messages being given to us. Some of us really find meditation is the way. So whatever it is that works for you, but have something, have a rod of Aaron. It's important. It's important that we have something that goes before us in all things, and something that we invoke that God force into our lives, and remind ourselves